the tale of Windows updates these past few months, I suppose, has not been kind to Microsoft. I mean, we had the October update deleting people's files, then we had the October update bricking people's computers, then we had the October update doing October update things and just ruining everything, running high CPU usage, cats and dogs living together. It was pandemonium and chaos. And finally, Microsoft recently said, okay, well, maybe what if we allow you to choose when to update? And people were like, yeah, no duh, thanks. Thanks, Microsoft. Okay, that's what we wanted all along. But apparently with the new updates that are coming out, Microsoft says, hey, you folk with all your pathetic little skinny computers that have despicable amounts of storage, you think 16 gigabytes is enough to hold the powerhouse that is Windows 10? They say nay, my friends. No, you need 32 gigabytes now. Windows requirements for installing Windows now higher. It's insane. Like if you have like one of those little netbooks, you can't update anymore because it's going to require that you need 32 gigabytes. That's insane. Does anybody really have those netbooks anymore though?
I think some people do.
Like, I guess you need an Ultrabook? I don't know. Microsoft is basically killing off the super low-end division of like netbooks, the super cheap things that only cost $100. Those are gone because Microsoft needs more storage. Now you have to get either a Chromebook,
oh no,
or you have to get something that doesn't use Microsoft, which, I mean, be realistic, anybody who's spending that little money probably is going to be on Windows. So yeah, this is a price hike. I bet this is me okay, this is rumor, conspiracy. I bet Microsoft's in bed with the storage companies, and they're trying to get them more revenue by making it so that, oh, you need 32 gigs to install Windows. Oh, you want to install a 64 gig? How about you buy 120, okay? You're not good enough to be here if you're just on 64 gigs. What are you gonna use the rest of your storage for? Files? Your paint little drawing doodads? No, my friends, you need 120 gigs. Anything less is just an insult to the Microsoft family. Bill Gates would roll over in his grave if he knew what you were doing. Anyways, that's the end of this hot news. Microsoft increasing the requirements on Windows install. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our hot news. Love you too. Brett, bye.
So it's time for another crazy cooling experiment with Linus and Alex. This time our victim is going to be the Dell Alienware Area 51M. So this is notable for having a desktop 9900K 8-core processor in it that runs at 100 degrees at all times. So we are going to be trying to tame the beast, but there's going to be a couple of key differences today. Difference number one, they kicked us out of the boardroom, so we're in the kitchen. And difference number two, we have...
Hello.
Stephen Burke from Gamers Nexus! So let's see what we can do with this thing. With Glasswire, you can instantly see your current and past network activity, detect malware, and block badly behaving apps on your PC or Android device. Use offer code Linus and get 25% off Glasswire at the link below. This is a lot of gear.
Why is there a calculator?
He never goes anywhere without his TI-84.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's just nice if you want to
Do you have
calculate things.
a phone?
Yeah, but it's bad.
Okay.
So we're not gonna know what or how we can mount an alternative cooling solution to this thing until we've opened it up and figured out exactly what kind of mounting holes Dell's using. We require mounting holes that are quite close to the socket, and we don't know if we're gonna find that inside.
Yeah, we're not going to.
I'm trying to put some suspense in the video, Alex, I know that.
So is this CPU and GPU, are they exposed on this side?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Is your plan to leave the motherboard mounted in the laptop?
Yep.
So the other option is you sit it precariously on its side, and we just look at the screen like this, while the cooler is hooked up like that.
Yeah, that could work.
Do you know the story of my chiller? I bought this for the sole purpose of hooking it up to my daily driver E6600. And you can tell that it's very...
Did it ever hurt anybody?
17-year-old me engineered. It has not hurt anyone yet, but the possibility of being hurt is definitely real. So I would ask that while it's plugged in, you refrain from touching this.
That thing's terrifying.
Is this a ground terminal?
Any of the bare leads here? Yeah, that's just hanging there.
Okay, you don't need ground.
We don't see ourselves as being grounded type people.
Okay. Neither of us wants to use our liability insurance.
Yeah.
What I think is going to have to happen is we're going to take these really, really cheap blocks
Okay.
and machine a new piece of acrylic that'll fit the mounting holes.
Does this doesn't have any micro fins, does it?
No, it's just a flat piece of
Oh
copper.
no.
It's like $4 on AliExpress. What do you want, man?
Maybe $6 on AliExpress? I don't know.
iFixit's gonna hate this. I couldn't find a Marlin, so this is their old precision screwdriver set. Here you go.
I'm assuming there's no IHS on the CPU, right?
Yeah.
Is there really?
Yeah,
So it's literally a desktop. Okay.
I know, right?
Is it socketed?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. So it's two 10mm heat pipes on the CPU, and then GPU is here.
Yep.
What is the GPU?
Full-blown 2080.
You said the CPU is 100 degrees. Was that only with overclocking, I'm assuming?
That's at max. So
Okay.
you just put it in performance mode and it hits 100 degrees.
Wow, okay.
One of the things that we're probably going to have to figure out, because having a look at the cooling solution here, Steven identified that there's actually a fair amount of VRM cooling going on. So they're not just cooling the CPU, but this aluminum plate right here is actually making thermal pad contact with
The MOSFETs and the inductors.
all of this. Interesting. So Alex, this is going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to have to get airflow onto this heatsink somehow, even if we do just go with the stock solution and put this back in here.
Is the GPU going to be under a chiller also?
Yeah.
Is the chiller like, what is it, like 0 degrees?
It's whatever you want it to be, baby.
Okay.
So it's been a couple hours. Where are you at?
We're good to cut things. So it looks kind of stupid. This is the GPU one.
It does look kind of stupid. It looks like you screwed it up.
And because we just moved our router,
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is at the moment. And until we test that, I'm just making all of the holes way bigger. So hopefully it fits anyway.
You have the O-ring groove and everything sort of. Oh, right, there's no groove.
Yeah, no groove, just flat.
So we're just going to reuse the stock O-ring that came with our Chinese block.
Yeah.
How does this compare to how organized and professional you thought we were, Steve?
That's about what I thought.
I deserve that. Hey, I get to be the coolest looking one, too. Hey,
Oh no.
what up? There you go. So that's our CPU mount, right?
Yep.
Cool. Sorry, Steve. It's not as bad if you're making the noise, which is why I always volunteer for tap duty.
It's fine.
This one's a bit off, but I think we can just drill through it and it'll be fine.
The PCB or the acrylic top?
Isn't it going to be beautiful when you have the mill and it'll actually just be like vroom,
How much was it again?
5K?
Oh God, no, I don't know about that.
Good enough?
Heck yeah! Woo!
It's not perfect, but that's not what we're going for.
The label on this bin really does not bode well for the water cooling process.
Sorry, Steve, I promise we'll get to the part where we really need your expertise, the overclocking, very soon. Just gotta, fabricate some crap.
Do you want like a vise to secure the block?
No, I have that.
Would you like to use it?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Just making sure. I'm gonna go back to writing my scripts for your next video.
Yeah. Ow!
I wonder if this is how like EK Water Blocks makes theirs.
Yeah, EK definitely uses a drill by hand right through the top. Oh, that was gnarly.
Why is Alex not wearing gloves, but Linus has to protect his little baby hands?
That's why.
We're getting close then, aren't we?
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Actually, we have a lot of crap on the floor. Steve, around the thing there's a Dyson.
I know that you're really good at vacuuming. I saw you did a review once of a vacuum cleaner.
Is the money still in it? I just vacuum right there. It's not sucking up the dirt.
We have to cut a new one, Alex. That's not gonna hold. Well, Alex is recutting our GPU acrylic top. We're gonna mount our CPU block as best we can. So, in order to make our lives a little bit
no, you're not
easier.
using one of those, are you?
Yeah, why not?
Thermal paste is going to be better thermally. Those are just good for their endurance, like because you can use it a long time.
Actually, Coffee Lake, line down the middle.
You know what? Just for you.
Wait, what? This is the Skylake X technique, sir? Okay, so
I've read that smiley faces improve the thermals a bit.
okay, how much are you putting on here?
It's just gonna squish out.
Exactly. Who's gonna clean it?
I don't know. I won't be here. Linus, one of my longest standing sponsors is Thermal Grizzly.
Yeah.
There needs to be more thermal paste.
There needs to be more thermal.
Work it back in.
I'm all about the wiggle technique. So what do you think?
Looks really ghetto, but like in a good way.
So our expectation right now
Turn
is
on.
that this will turn on.
Yes.
Okay, want to throw that heatsink back on there?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Wait, oh, I saw a flash on the keyboard. Oh, no, it's powering up.
Battery. That sounds like it wants a battery, maybe.
Okay, sure. Let's try putting a battery in. Okay.
You can screw that down.
No, it's fine.
Like, at least one.
You gotta hold the heatsink.
Do you want to?
Hold the heatsink, Alex. Alex, the heatsink. No one's holding it. Okay, are we reassembling it at this point? Like,
No.
soft flicker.
Yeah, fans do like one rotation and stop.
So basically, here's what happened. The problem was that the memory slots are actually labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, which is pretty typical. What's a little less typical is that it wasn't booting with memory in slots 1 and I guess it would have been 4. Apparently, the system is firing up, so all that's left now is to retighten up our CPU block, mount our GPU block, and then finally, 1 day later, leverage the talents of Stephen Burke here.
I might actually do something now.
How about we start with just a little below ambient, stay above the dew point,
Okay.
Yeah, I like
and then
the
we
sounds
go
of
from
that.
there. I'm gonna lift this up, and we are going to put this in there.
Okay.
You can see this well-crafted cutout right here.
Yep.
That's for this, right here.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that needs to go. Perfect. Thank you. Don't cut yourself. That's some very rusty metal. Okay.
Tubing.
Here's some scrap tubing we had lying around with a fitting in. It's not a race, Alex.
Well, if it is, I'm winning.
Done.
Damn it.
Seems fine.
Well, let's maybe give it 1 minute. I mean, remember, these are Linus tapped holes.
Also, one of the first fittings that you put on just didn't have an O-ring.
Really?
So
Are you sure it didn't come off or something? No, I really did check. It's just drawing the cables into the fans. So they're shredding the cable sleeving, which is creating strands of cable sleeving that get into them more easily.
Wait, what's going on?
It's a good solution though.
Well, only if it works. We've got our water cooling working. Our temperatures are great. At idle, we're what, like 15 degrees, 10
Yeah,
degrees,
15
something like
and
that?
13 on the GPU. And we're at 6
Beautiful.
Celsius on the chiller.
Wonderful, except for one small thing. No matter what we do in the extreme tuning utility, I'm using air quotes here, it's not applying. We're getting lower scores in the CPU test in 3D Mark. So we've got core ratio overrides for 1 to 8 cores. Do you want to just set those in here?
No, we'll do that next to you if we can.
Okay. All right, so after painstakingly applying their in-BIOS overclocking settings, we are supposedly at 5.2 gigahertz on any load up to 6 cores, and then 4.9 for 7 and 8 core loads. But we're pretty sure that this is nonsense.
So ideally, with overclocking, the biggest limits you run into are thermal and potentially voltage, which triggers thermal, and then power limits. And so we're running out of power, which I know for 2 reasons. One is because Hardware Info 64 tells us we're hitting power limits. And the other one is because you can see the cores throttling, but we're well under TJ Maxx. The issue then is that when I try to increase the power limits here, and it doesn't look like they've really changed from that BIOS change. When I increase the power limits next to you, it just says you can't do that. Or it increases them in such a small way that it doesn't do anything useful for us.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Yeah, I was gonna tell you this clearly isn't working because we're at 246 watts. We got higher than that before.
Alienware's pre-overclock here is actually doing nothing. So their pre-overclock's actually, it is 52 on 6 cores, but it's actually doing 4.8 on all cores. So let's just manually tell it to do 49x. And then I want to change these, but I don't think it does anything based on what we've seen. So let's just run this as a baseline and see what the cores are doing.
So amusingly enough, turning our clock speed target down to 4.9, but on all cores, actually yields slightly higher power consumption and
a higher score.
A higher score.
Yeah. And so the reason this happens, for anyone who doesn't know, is because when you set the configuration to aggressive, but you're power throttling, it's throttling harder to try and account for that. So you might actually drop your multiplier from something like 49x down to all the way into the 20s or 30s.
Right.
I'm gonna increase the cache ratio now. A general rule of thumb is I like to keep cache ratio like maybe 4 ticks below all core, but we're gonna push for maybe 47x and see if that holds. And this is also known as, it says reboot required. In XTU on this laptop, it seems like reboot required basically means it's not gonna work.
No wonder you prefer working with desktops. At least they're designed for this sort of thing.
I think this is designed for it.
I think so too. I think Alienware had this in mind. So after beating our heads against the wall, turns out there's a new BIOS for this laptop.
Apparently, enhanced the performance of the system.
Perfect. Thank you, BIOS engineers.
Hopefully this gives us a bit more control.
Oh, whoa, hold on a second. No, this is good. Power limit 1 is 210 watts now.
Oh yeah.
That's the change. Okay, I have some hope now. Because if we can get another 60 watts.
That should be substantial.
Yeah. I doubt you're going to be able to actually change it to 230 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening, man.
I guess I should note as well, I did drop the chiller a bit more. So I forget where we're at. About 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't really use Fahrenheit despite being American, so I'm not sure what that is.
But our load temps were around 50 to 55 degrees across all cores.
We're below 0 Celsius is what really matters. So
we're expecting a better result this time because we got up to almost 250 watts here.
okay,
actually,
good.
For the full system. CPU temps are also a touch higher in the mid 60s. So it's definitely working harder.
So we're changing power management mode for the GPU to performance instead of optimal power. We're changing texture filtering from quality to high performance. Kingpin, OGS, all those real overclockers do this. It's permissible, so we've got that done. It is actually at, what was it, 290?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's very promising.
This is better than the first BIOS for sure.
Yeah, and we haven't touched voltage yet, so
Okay.
if we have to overvolt, we might be able to. It's just gonna be a power limitation issue.
You know what? Right when you said that, it peaked at 300.
So 300 is gonna be our new maximum power, it looks like.
Use of throttle stop to bypass these throttling schemes is at your own risk and can result in permanent damage to your power adapter or computer.
Perfect. I'm applying the setting, it's saying reboot required, I hit discard, I apply the setting, and then it works. And if I reboot, it doesn't work, it gives an error message.
It's held 295, it's holding up there longer.
Our frequency was at actually like 50 the whole time, and I technically applied 51, but I don't know if it actually worked.
10679. So this is the error that we get every time we try to actually listen to the software and reboot. And then it just doesn't apply anything that was changed.
Yeah. In fact, it reset everything else.
So after playing around with all the dials in XTU, it turns out that the only thing that really changed with the BIOS update was that the default power limit is higher. The good news, though, is now we can start pushing our GPU, which we should be able to get a pretty good overclock on, right?
Yes, so GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs especially, are really temperature dependent. And for about every maybe 5 degrees Celsius you drop, you'll keep getting frequency increases without even doing any work.
We do not have a lot of time. We're starting to sweat.
Yes, air will create condensation. So I would limit air access to components.
Oh, that's fine.
I'll let you do that.
Worst case scenario, Alienware gets back a laptop that doesn't work.
So 11236, we are up on graphics significantly.
Hey!
There's some success. So we are up from 10,201 to 11,236, about 10%, and 7 degrees on the GPU after running. So then let's get this back towards the VRM.
Perfect.
How hot is that? It's getting warm.
Yeah, memory was getting a little bit toasty too.
And our memory is shoved under there, I think. So that's, I would like to get a fan kind of this direction. Oh, sure. We need to
But do we need, yeah.
insulate the CPU a bit.
Well, that's the best I think we can really hope for right now. I'm gonna put some more towel around the fittings up here at the top.
Yeah.
Is the compressor still running? Are we still bringing this down? Yeah, you know, I think we're gonna call this the limit because we're starting to sweat more than I'm really comfortable with. We're gonna start getting drops running down the tubes onto the motherboard here pretty soon. So, did you crank it all the way? So this is basically it. This is what we're going for. Plus 180 on the GPU core, plus 1120 on the GPU memory, and 5 gigahertz on the CPU. Now, to be clear, there are other things that Steve could do if he had more time, tuning the clock speeds for individual cores, because I mean, 3D Mark, especially when you're running a GPU test, actually doesn't hit all of the cores, so you could avoid a power limit by not running all of them at 5 gigahertz. So we have well over a 10% improvement.
Yeah, not bad.
What do our GPU and CPU temps look like? I see, is that 9 on the GPU I see over here?
CPU, so max was about 74 degrees Celsius. So, and then the GPU, we don't have it logged. Actually, we do. The max was 28 degrees.
28 degrees.
Woo! Really not bad. So that's awesome. So anyway, I think we can be happy with this, knowing that within the time and the software parameters we unfortunately have, we're at 11,406 versus
10,186.
So that is way outside of margin of error. We've actually improved it.
Yep.
The graphics score is 11,614. The CPU wasn't really that great. It was 10,360, so it could improve there. There's a throttling issue. So settings, GPU core offset was 160 megahertz. Memory, we did 1120 megahertz. I tried 1180, I tried 1220. Both of those really heavily artifacted and crashed. Maximum performance mode. In the power management for NVIDIA drivers, we changed texture filtration to high performance from quality, which is allowed.
So that's it. Massive thank you to Alienware for permitting us to do this to their machine. I'm just kidding.
They didn't permit this.
They did not permit any of this. But thanks to Steve for coming out and having some fun with us.
It was a lot of fun,
First time laptop extreme overclocking?
Yes. Very fun. And very impressed with Alex's CNC turnaround on the blocks.
Yeah, extremely quick water cooling solution for, laptop. It's going to be a new business opportunity for us, I think.
Yeah,
Create custom laptop water blocks.
Lots of money in that.
Speaking of lots of money in that, Ting is the mobile carrier that's focused on customer service and customer satisfaction. And with Ting, you pay only for what you use, with the average Ting bill coming in at just $23 a month per device. They have no contracts, and you can try it risk-free. And if you're stuck in a contract with your existing carrier and you switch to Ting, they'll cover 25% of your cancellation fee, up to $75. They've got nationwide coverage from coast to coast in the USA, and data is now just $10 a gig beyond the second gig. They never block, throttle, or interfere with your online access, and you can find out how much you'll save on Ting by going to linus.ting.com and trying out their savings calculator. We used their voicemail to text service and published our number, 1-833-565-LTTVM, to hear some messages from our fans.
I unfortunately don't have access to Ting here in the UK, but I would love to get it. It would save me roughly around about £10 if you were to convert it. So I really do hope we're able to come over here into the UK.
So lower your phone bill at linus.ting.com and get $25 in Ting credit. We'll have that linked below. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked, hit that button. But if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, especially to Steve. You can find him over at Gamers Nexus. There is no apostrophe, even though it seems like maybe there should be. Don't stress about it. Also, what else? Oh yeah, you can check out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. I wouldn't recommend using it like this. Also down there is our merch store. And what the hey, why don't we put Steve's merch store down there as well? Do you have these mod mats again yet?
They will be here pretty soon, yeah.
Okay, wicked.
And we have the medium ones now.
So these things are fantastic. Whatever your tech project is, whether you're working on a computer like him or a mobile phone or whatever.
Did you just call me a computer?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's very nice. There is a nerve.
Totally pops.
That is sick.
Hi, my name is Jonna Mendez.
You may recognize her from our previous Wired video.
I was chief of disguise at the CIA. Today, I'm breaking down clips from movies and TV about spies and disguise. Roll clip. This is a box of passports